G'day ladies and gentlemen, today we've got an interesting one. We're talking about Gareth, Soloway and other people who are calling for less than 10k Bitcoin. And it's a very short one. I'm doing it intentionally because I want to make an overarching point that's not necessarily leaning towards TA in this video. The overarching point I want to make, I'll get into soon, but before we do that, I want to quickly brush over some of the things that someone like Gareth Soloway, and again, I'm not calling this man out, I'm just saying he's just an example that I'm using here, is saying about Bitcoin, about cryptocurrency, about the future for 2023 and early 2024. He's saying that it's going to go to 10k. He's got many reasons for that. I'm not going to dive too deeply into all of the reasons. But essentially, he's saying a few reasons, one of which being that Bitcoin, has never recovered this fast before, and hence Bitcoin is in some sort of dead cat bounce. And I think I simply, obviously disagree with that. It's just simply not true. If you look at 2019, we bottomed out here. We saw a gain much faster than what we're seeing right now. We saw a gain of around 308% in a very short period of time. And, that gain was happening just as swift as we're doing it right now. Exactly the same thing in 2015. We've seen bounces at similar and greater magnitudes before, as we're seeing right now, ever since November or October 2023, 2022, when we saw the bottom. This bounce is not abnormal at all. And, another claim he's making, and again, I'm not calling this person out specifically, but another claim people are making a lot, and the reason I'm brushing over this kind of stuff very quickly is because I've got an overarching claim to make in this video. But another claim he's made is that Bitcoin didn't see a true capitulation. Now, again, I simply 100% disagree with this. It's factually incorrect. What do you mean by capitulation is the first question I would ask, and the second, and their response I would give you is, of course we've seen a bloody capitulation. Don't be ridiculous. Look at the previous bull markets. Look at the previous bear markets. What have we seen in previous bear markets? We saw a loss here in 2013 of 86%. We saw a loss here in 2018 of around 84%, and we saw a loss here in 2022 of around 78%. Okay, so we saw 86%, 84% and 77%, and apparently that 77% gain, because it's not 84%, is not a capitulation. Over the same time period, with the same market structure, in the same 4-year cycle, apparently that doesn't count as capitulation, just because it was a little bit less percent. Well, guess what? It was less percent because of diminishing returns, okay? It's not rocket science. Bitcoin goes up less and less every single cycle because the market cap gets bigger and bigger. All we need to do to find that out is look at the last two cycles. From 2014 to 2017, Bitcoin went up 12,000%. From 2019 up here to 2021, Bitcoin only went up 2,000%. Okay, if the gains between cycles are dramatically smaller than the last cycle, of course the drop is going to be slightly smaller. In fact, I would have been expecting, if I was going to look at this chart objectively, it was back a year ago, I would have been expecting Bitcoin to drop down further because 77% is very close to 84% considering the dramatically less gain we have between previous cycles. So the diminishing returns is actually unevenly balanced to the downside. If anything, we've seen too much capitulation. Okay, so the whole argument that we haven't seen capitulation is utterly ridiculous. And that drives me into one of the points I wanted to make in this video. A lot of people say that capitulation, and this is more of a talking video, as you can tell here, but a lot of people say that capitulation is they want to see it happen. They want to see Bitcoin, they want to see altcoins drop down massively in a very short period of time, and only then do they consider it capitulation. For example, they consider this drop here that we saw in 2018 capitulation. They consider this drop here we saw in 2015 as capitulation. But I would argue that these drops that we've seen here in 2015 and 2018 are exactly the same as the drop we saw here in June 2022. The June 2022 was the capitulation Bitcoin needed to see. And we got that supported by the evidence in market structure. What we have here is a very clear market structure that's played out for three separate occurrences now. 3 separate occurrences means it is a trend. We have a trend here played out 3 separate kinds. We're on the monthly chart here for Bitcoin. We're looking at the 21-month EMA. Okay, that is the blue moving average here. In every single bull market, we have formed, at the peak, a red support level, okay? A support level for the bull market. When we lost that level in every single bull market, we simultaneously lost the 21 EMA. And then in a very short period of time, usually a matter of a couple to a few months, we've dropped down massively, okay? And then we formed the lower support level, which ends up being the bottom for Bitcoin, okay? That's the yellow line. So, again, I'll explain that one more time. In the bull market, we form a red support level. That support level usually lines up with 21 EMA. When we lose both of those things, we go down for a couple months, and then we form the bottom at the yellow support level. And that is usually around, let's go ahead and see, a 40 to 50% drop between the red and yellow lines. We saw 40 to 50% in the 2014 cycle, 40 to 50% in 2018. And guess what, guys? It's really not rocket science. We saw 40 to 50% in 2021, 2022. So to argue that we didn't see capitulation, you are genuinely ignoring the charts. There is no other way to put it. You are clearly, and it's factual. You're just being biased. You're not being intellectually honest with yourself, whether it's consciously or whether it's unconsciously. Of course we saw a capitulation, and of course, the market has technically gone down enough, right? Whatever that means, as per the 4-year cycle theory and as per what's happened previously. So the whole argument, we haven't gone down enough, we haven't seen capitulation, out the window, completely bullshit, completely filled with bias. As you can see here, it's very clear what the market structure does in bull markets and bear markets, and it's very clear that we have seen a capitulation, which occurs when we lose that red support line and the 21-month EMA in previous cycles, and it's occurred here in May to June 2022. So we've seen capitulation, of course, obviously. Now, it's very important to note that a lot of the people, vast majority of people I don't know if it's the vast majority, but a good chunk, maybe 50%, I'm just guessing here, of the people in cryptocurrency market probably came into crypto sometime between the last bear market and the current period in time. So somewhere in there, people in the cryptocurrency space probably came to crypto, and so it stands to reason that they haven't really seen how altcoins behave in a bear market, and so their definite definition of capitulation is altcoins crashing and dying. It's very important to note, guys, altcoins don't die during a bear market, okay? Altcoins die when they fail to gain traction again during the next bull market. That's the problem with altcoins. It's impossible to know whether your altcoin is dead or not until we see the next bull market, because only then is it going to be pitted against new competition, and only then is it going to have a chance to regain popularity within the market. And when it fails to do so, then in hindsight, you can look back at the charts and see that it hasn't actually gone upwards for 4 years, and hence it is now dead. It's only during the bull market that people can classify altcoins as dead. So all these altcoins you see down 95%, 80%, 95%, whatever it is, they're technically not dead yet, right? Because they haven't actually had a challenge. They haven't had the chance to come back up again. Altcoins aren't going up in a bear market, guys. It doesn't happen, okay? They go up during bull markets. And guess what? At the start of a bull market, only a very select few altcoins from the last bull market will actually go up again. And that's when you can call them dead. So if you think, your idea of capitulation is altcoins going down and crashing to zero, that's simply not how it works. Most altcoins don't go to zero, and they don't go anywhere near zero until people realize they're not going to go up again. And that's in the next bull market. So very important to note that if you're holding altcoins, just know it's very hard to tell with altcoins whether they're actually dead or not until the following cycle. But overall, I did mention Gareth Soloway at the start of this video. And again, this video isn't directly connected to Gareth Soloway in any way. He's just an example that I use because he made a few points there. And he obviously has some good points regarding the macro economy and all that and recession, but I've responded to that extensively in the past. I'm not going to waste any more time responding to that now, but he did make two of those claims which kind of just frustrated me because it's just dishonest. Of course, Bitcoin has gone down enough. Look at the last two cycles. Of course, Bitcoin has a similar structure, and of course it's seen capitulation. Look at the last two cycles. They're ridiculous claims. They're simply not true. So, I'm not talking about his claims here on the traditional markets, but he did make those claims quite clearly. I don't like those claims. There's a lot of people making those claims, and so it's not directly tailored towards Gareth Soloway here, but he is a good example, and he's a popular example as well. And so I thought I'd mention that here. But, one more thing I did want to mention, guys, is the fact that these big names, again, I'm not specifically mentioning Gareth Soloway, but the big names, the Robert Kiyosakis of the world, the famous investors, the Warren Buffetts, all these people, the big, real big time investors, the famous ones. Just remember, guys, okay, they're not prophets. They're not prophets, okay? Generally speaking, they've made a couple of good calls, all right? And those calls have been made famous through the news, and news reporters, they wrote a book, and news reporters kept on saying, the author of this book and the esteemed investor, they're not prophets, they're just investors. Yes, they're good, sure, but it doesn't mean they're right 100% of the time. So I don't like the appeal to authority that a lot of these people do. I don't like the fact that, look, put it this way. if I wrote a book and I got in the news a couple of times, then I could say, oh, I'm an author, and I was on the news, and then all of a sudden I've got much more credibility. Of course, that gives you credibility, but it doesn't mean I'm right 24/7. Okay, not at all, because these people are wrong all the time. Okay, so let's not treat them like they're prophets. Let's not treat them like they're some saviors from heaven for the cryptocurrency market, for the investing world. They're not at all. They're just another opinion. They're just like watching a YouTube video, probably with a little bit more expertise. That's basically what they are. I don't necessarily think, and this is controversial potentially, but I don't necessarily think that having a greater amount of time in the market necessarily makes you a good trader or investor. Obviously, that's biased because I'm a young bloke here, but I'm just saying, I think that, you don't need to see things happen to know they happened. I wasn't around during this period of time over here. I wasn't around in cryptocurrency. I didn't even know cryptocurrency existed during this period of time over here. I was around over here, but I certainly wasn't around over here. That doesn't mean I can't look back at what happened on the charts. It's right in front of me. I saw what happened. And it's data, it's mathematics. It doesn't change what happened whether I was there or not. So it's very important to note, just because someone is older doesn't necessarily mean they're better. So I just wanted to say that as well, because that's something that's, I think, is pretty important to understand. Don't treat anyone like they're prophets at the end of the day. People lie all the time. People have ulterior motives, okay? Even me, you could argue. I'm trying to sell you a course. So, you could make the argument that I've got an ulterior motive. Now, obviously, I'm going to say, no, that's not true, obviously. But I'm just saying, you don't know who I am. I'm just a dude on the internet. You don't know what my motives are. You don't know anything about me. Now, I'm presenting you with an argument. I'm presenting you with data. I'm trying to make that data, as unbiased as possible. So you guys can, justify using that data in your own arguments and you guys can, I guess tell yourselves that it's not biased and it's got nothing to do with my motives. But at the end of the day, the only thing you can trust is yourself, and the only thing you can trust is the charts. So that's very important to note as well, and that's why you need to learn how to trade. Whether it be through my course, whether it be through the internet, whatever, you need to learn how to trade for yourself, because you can't trust anyone in this market, because at the end of the day, guys, the market is player versus player, okay? Communities, yeah, they exist, but put it this way, right? If you're in the bull market and you join a Telegram group about altcoins, okay? You join an altcoin Telegram group. Everyone in that group might be working together in a certain sense, but the community only exists in a very abstract form, because at the end of the day, you're competing against each other. If you're both trading, if you're buying from each other, you're selling to each other, you're technically versing that person. So communities only exist to a very certain extent. And this is why I don't like the idea of listening to mainstream media and these corporations and people who own these corporations, these big names, because they are the most connected to institutions who are manipulating the market. And those institutions that are manipulating the market don't necessarily want retail to do good, because they're versing retail. They're taking money from retail. So I think it's very important that you get your advice. If you're going to get advice, you get your advice from people who are the least connected to centralized authorities as possible. And that's why I would argue that myself is a pretty good example. I've got no connections in corporate, in the corporate world, not directly at least, and not certainly not, feeding you information to make corporations more money. That's certainly not what I'm doing. So I think that's another important thing to know. I just wanted to get these things out there in the open. I think they're very important. I think a lot of people would find them very interesting. But ultimately, guys, Bitcoin, it's so simple to see. We've done exactly what we've done in previous cycles in terms of dates. We've done exactly what we've done in previous cycles in terms of structure. As you can see here, there's various indicators saying that everything we've done so far is normal. Does that mean the bottom is in? I think it does, but not necessarily. The bottom could not be in. It's just we haven't had the evidence yet to claim that confidently. There's no evidence that Bitcoin's doing anything abnormal. Everything we've done so far is normal. Again, that doesn't mean the bottom is in necessarily. It just means the abnormalities haven't started yet. But to claim that, everything's abnormal and everything's been different and we're going to go down to 10K because of that, no, that's speculation. We haven't seen evidence of it yet. Right now, the evidence suggests that everything's fine. And that's what I'm going to stick by until I'm proven wrong, if I am. So guys, that's about it. Let's look at a few things though. VIP sale, guys. Welcome to Q2. It's the first month of Q2 here, just a few days in. We've got a VIP sale, 25% discount on all VIP memberships for a 3-month period. You get 3 months for the 25% discount, and that sale is lasting until the 14th of April. If you're interested in altcoin trading signals, now's your time to take advantage of it and get that discount. You've got 10 days on that sale there. Sign up to the BitGet exchange, guys. 5 times lower fees than Binance. Best exchange in the cryptocurrency market. It's the exchange I use for my personal trading. It's the exchange I recommend everyone uses for their personal trading. I don't necessarily think that things like Binance, things like Coinbase are the best exchanges for people to use. I've had various bad experiences with those people in the past. Those exchanges in the past. I think it's best to get onto exchange like BitGet, which holds up to the fundamental values of cryptocurrency, being semi-decentralized, having non-KYC aspects. Go ahead and sign up. 15% trading fee discount for life using my referral link in the description. And finally, guys, if you want to learn how to trade, Crypto Academy courses is one of the places you can do it. This is my course. I developed it with Megawell Crypto. He's a fellow analyst on YouTube. You can check it out. It's we've got all the information on the website here. You can check the description link in the comment to get to the website and read up about the course. And finally, you can email us here at cryptoacademycourses@gmail.com if you're interested or you have any questions, and we'll answer those for you as soon as possible. Thank you guys for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video. I hope you found it useful, and I'll catch you in the next one. Cheers.